Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today you would be learning about all the units we use in the CSS files and sometimes also in the HTML files. You would be learning it with respect to this website. It contained almost everything that I wanted to tell you all. So this is the VS Code where I would be showing how these things look like. So some basic things you need to know is, first of all, a CSS unit determines the size of a property, etc. This is already known. It is of two types, absolute and relative. Absolute are the ones that do not depend on anything else. Like if you are using units such as pixels, then you do not have to watch for any relation. But if you're using percentage, then you need to know that what is the size for the container or the div you're using, because the size will completely matter on the size of the div. So here are the six absolute units that we have. First is pixels, which I obviously talked about right now. So they have given some description that 1 divided by 96 of an inch is equal to 1 pixel. So 96 pixels from 1 inch. These are just some simple conversions that aren't of that much use. Like the mostly used one here is this, the pixel alone. Sometimes you can use centimeter or millimeter because they are quite scalable things. You can just simply put a scale on your computer if you have no clue that what the size would be. Then comes the relative one. These are the most used ones. Like you would be using percentage at many, like it is normally used. Even I use it. EM, I have used it also. REM also. CH is not that much used. Then comes VH. VH is mostly used for body. Then comes VW. It is simply a VH, like VH stands for viewport height. VW stands for viewport width. So simply it is the viewport height, but here height is the width. I know it's getting confusing. The thing is, you would have noticed that in some projects I would be using height is equal to 100 VH. 100 VH is simply the entire height, whereas 100 VW is the entire width. We do not really have to use it, mostly because of the thing that mostly divs are by default at the VW only. So you need not use it. Then comes vmin, which is the minimum dimension or the smallest dimension of the viewports. We do not use it in normal web development. Like it would be when we learn about responsive. Same is for Vmax. Then comes ex. Ex is also not that much used. It's just of occasional use, just like ch. So let me show you how these things are done. So I will give units.html, and the second would be units.css. So let's close the sidebar and take it to a division. Why isn't it? Okay, now it is. So first of all, obviously exclamation mark, then we link it, and the link will go to unit CSS. Now I'll first, like not first, I would side by side show you how these are used. So obviously first thing would be the VH, because it is of the body. So I'll give body, and VH is being used, so I'll write height, which is 100 VH. And I'll also give it a background color so that it is easier to differentiate. So background color would be, I would give it aqua. As you can see, the entire is aqua now. But if I go to suppose 50 VH, how's it still working? That's weird. So VH simply means that it would cover the entire screen. I don't know what the problem is. Okay, so this is simple. Okay. Now further we go. Now I'll add a div of suppose the name first. You would be knowing about pixels, but I'll still show you how they work. So first we'll again give it a background color, and the color would be like, I'll straight away use the colors that are coming. Okay, so width would be 100 pixels and height would also be 100 pixels. Let's save it, and let's save it also. As you can see, this is 100 by 100. Now comes the second div. Like, I'll show you all of them with responses to div, and maybe somewhere I would be using some other also. Most probably with font. So the second, and for the second we would be using a unit called pt. So dot second. Now the background color is antique white. Then comes width 100 pt, and again height 100 pt. It is simply a bigger version of pixels. Let me give all the divs a property of gap 10 pixels. So why isn't it still working? Oh, I had to give margin and I gave gap. Okay, so now it is a little bit differentiable. Now comes the third one, which is div dot all third. And it's third. Let's save it. Now we'll be using a unit called PC. I would give it a background color of aquamarine and width 100 PC. Then comes height, which is again 100 PC. You can see multiple more units such as cap, R cap, etc. They are not of that much influence. You can see how big it is, so let's make it smaller, or let's at least show you once how big it is. You can see that is 100 pixel by 100 pixel, that is 100 pt by 100 pt, and this is 100 pc by 100 pc. It's a lot. Let's do justify content center. We'll first need display flex. So the next is all fourth. So div all fourth. Let's save it. And it would be using the unit millimeter, which, as you can think, would be really small. Although as per the chronological order given on that website, it should be centimeter, but I would be using millimeter first because it is smaller. We may later rearrange their places so that it looks more in the ascending or descending order. So now the background color, azure, height would be 100 mm. Let's save it. As you can see, it is bigger than the 100 PC by 100 PC, but it isn't bigger than our, I meant 100 PT by 100 PT. I mistake said PC. It is smaller than PC units, but bigger than PT units. Now comes the fifth. So div dot all fifth. Now fifth. And now I would be using centimeters. The color is beige now. 100 centimeter. And as you can think, it is going to be really big. Height 100 centimeter. Even my zoom can't go that far. As big this is. Like as you can see, it is going to 25% and I can't even more zoom it out. So I'll remove this display flex and justify center. And now you can see it, how big it is. It is really big. Because it is simply going to 1 meter now. And as you can judge, this isn't 1 meter on your screen because of the zoom out I have done. Like if we go to 100% zoom, this is what it would look like if you are using a website on 100% zoom and it has the value 100 centimeter. It would be so big. I have a habit of keeping my website zoomed out. Sorry for that. Now this. And now comes the sixth, which is going to be even bigger. Because it will have the units inches, which are obviously bigger than the centimeters. So let's save it. Go to a second and now sixth. So background color would be disk. Width 100 inches. Inches is given as IN. And again height 100 inches. And now you can see how big it is. You can't even fit it in the screen. It's so big. So we can do one thing. We can bring all of them to 10 so that they are a little bit scalable and you can see all of them together. Now as you can see, or I should say you cannot see, there is the pixel and PT1. It is so small. I will just change the color to black so that it is, now you can see it a little bit. That's how small it would look on a 25% zoom. Although there would be really rare people that would be using it. And these are the entire absolute units that are in existence. These are the main ones, as you can see. However, I shouldn't have said existence because there are multiple variants of them further. Now comes the relative ones, and I would be using them in text, which I'm going to put here. So I would prefer the text hello, although you wouldn't be able to see most of them. So let's save it. Now we have to put the font size at, I would say, 10%. I think this would be so small that you can't even see it properly with zoom. No, at least you can see it with zoom. Okay, now we'll put the second one under font size, and the second unit we have here is EM. 10 EM is going to be too big for it. As you can see, it literally exited. It isn't no longer in that square. Let's give it the value of 50 instead of 10, because else this would be an extreme havoc. Let's give it a value of 50 further on. So 50, although 50 centimeter and 50 inches would still be a lot big than we would even require, but still. You can see this is the hello with the EM. Let's give all of them a color, which is, I will go with white. So save it. Not white. Let's go with red. You can see there is a small value there. This is the EM one, and now it's turned for REM, which I think would be of the same size or even bigger. I can't be sure about this one. So 10 REM. Save it, and as you can see, it is of the same size. The difference between EM and REM is that EM is dependent on the font size that was previously being used, and REM is dependent on the root font size. So simply it is in relation with the root font size. We haven't changed the font size anywhere, so it is simply coming to the value same as the EM. We'll also do CH. So now we won't be able to do all of them. I'm telling you in advance that we can't do all of them here. So the CH1 is here. CH1 is also looking good. We can't do VH because first of all we have used VH here, so it's enough for the use. Although I tell you about it, it is viewport height, and 100 VH simply means the entire screen, as you can read here. And same is for VW. We can't use it in font size because it will have no change. Then comes V minimum. V minimum would simply be the same as VW here. No, not VW, VH, because we haven't given anywhere a minimum and maximum value. The same would be for Vmax. Then comes EX, we can use that one. I would show that one. And then we'll end the video. Let's save it. And now you can see this is what EX looks like. EX is simply in relation to whatever font you're using. It will simply open the X, the lowercase x, and take it in consideration, and according to that change the font size. And that's it. We are done with all the units. As you can also see here, there are more such as double X, which is simply using EX. These are the main ones. Others are variant, and those aren't even much used. As we are working with the beginner level things, so these are the entire, I wouldn't even say they are all beginner level, they are advanced also. Like you wouldn't be using multiple of them. So let's end the video. Bye. Please consider subscribing to the channel and like the video. Bye.